Hi guys, this is the lecture on introducing the elements of craft. After we go through this, there will be another lecture that's specific to image, details, and description. But right now, I just want to introduce the elements of craft. So the elements of craft are exactly what it sounds like. They're the elements that go into crafting a short story, or crafting any kind of writing, really. But what we're going to discuss is specific to short stories. The elements of craft are the generally accepted elements of craft, I should put it that way, are image, voice, setting, story, and character. These are the 5 biggest elements that go into writing a piece of creative writing. We will also focus on point of view and theme later on in the course. So, and this handout is attached to this course module as well. I want you to download a copy of this because this is something we will keep coming back to throughout the course of the semester. So image is the first element of craft, and it's the first one that we're going to focus on, which basically is just using imagery, concrete and significant details, and then description to aid in telling your story. And this is everything from using imagery as symbols, to using figures of speech, to using details to paint a larger picture, and using description for the same thing. The next element of craft is voice. And this is, I have point of view under here, but we're going to discuss point of view as a separate entity. Voice is a large topic. This is, it ranges from the language and word choices that you use as a writer, to developing your authorial voice as a writer, to developing a persona as a writer, to the voices of your characters, the dialogue, if you use formal dialogue, or if you use colloquialisms and slang. This is, think of voice as the way the writing sounds. And this can also include sentence variation and rhythm and the texture of your writing. All of these things that we'll discuss when we discuss voice, which we'll focus on next week, will be the focus. Voice, style, and language, word choices will be the focus for next week. Setting. This seems relatively simple. You learned in elementary school that setting is the time and place that a story happens. But setting can be used in multiple different ways. You can use setting as a character or as a symbol. The setting may directly cause the conflict of the story. It may push the narrative forward. You can use setting as the setting of your story as a microcosm for the world. There are several different ways that you can use setting in a story. And again, we'll focus more on that when we get there. Right now, this is just an introduction. Story is the next element of craft. There are 7 basic plots, and there's the saying that every story that can be told has already been told. And we'll discuss all of these when we get there. But within story is also the structure that you use to tell the story. You can tell a structure linearly. You can tell it in a non-linear way. You can use in media res structure or temporal structure. So there are very different ways to, within story, there's always a narrative arc, and these are the parts of the narrative arc. But you can manipulate plot and story to move through your narrative arc in a different way. Character. This is actually a lot more difficult than it sounds. There are round characters and there are flat characters. And you want to develop your characters. They want to have a personality. You want them to have a personality. You want them to seem like real people. But then characters can also be used in different ways, typically as symbols. But you can also use characters as objects, which is actually the focus of a research paper, I guess we'll call it that, that I'm working on. But you can use characters as objects to push the narrative forward or to force the other characters to grow in a certain way. So, although these are, the standard elements of craft, there are ways that you can manipulate these and to go about creating these to tell your story in a more effective way or to tell it in a more unique way. So that is the introduction to the elements of craft. We will focus on all of these throughout the course, and we'll also focus on point of view and theme separately. Develop how to decide which point of view is best, how to manipulate point of view, how to create theme, all of those things. But for now, I just want you to know what the elements of craft are, and this week we're going to focus on imagery, details, and description.